As a long-term driver, there are, a lot of things that I've noticed that a lot of people do that just, I don't know why they do it. But here are just a few things, I guess, that they do. I mean, I'm not really much of a road rager. I keep to myself. I'm a very chill, laid-back kind of person, but still things annoy me from time to time, obviously. And just recently, as of last week, I drove all the way down from Traverse City to Ocala, Florida, and then Ocala, Florida, all the way back to Traverse City. And I've been everywhere in between anyways. Nashville, Tifton, Atlanta, all those places. So this isn't just specific to Traverse City, but it definitely applies more so just because I, drive around this area more often. Number one thing, obviously, is parking. Holy shit. Those people, I consider myself kind of like a precision parker and a precision driver more than anything else. I care about, parking a lot. And I care about being dead fucking center and 100% straight when it comes to parking. And I care about being dead fucking center in the middle of, the lane that I'm in. So if I'm supposed to be in the, right lane, I'll be in the right lane, but I'll be like right in the middle. That kind of thing. And so, perfect example, ironically or coincidentally enough, but, the person that is ahead of me in this parking lot, perfectly fits that exact category. And no, this wasn't like the inspiration to this video, but, it's one of the reasons why it's the first category. Nonetheless, here you go. Do you see as I see? Yeah, seriously? Really? I don't expect people to be a perfect parker or a precision parker such as myself. But that's just, I don't know. You have to be a special kind of dipshit, asshole, and entitled person to think that's okay to park like that. At least look to see if you parked like a jackass or not. And if you still look and visually see how much of a jackass like that you parked, then you really are a entitled asshat. Really. You just can't park like that. That fucks with, people being able to open their doors, or, and it causes other vehicles to have to park farther away, which just disrupts the entire lane of individual cars parked there. All because of your jackass, self-entitled, dumbass, narcissistic self, thinking that it's okay to park like that in the first place. You singularly cause everyone else to be inconvenienced and having to park in a different way that isn't suitable. You're the reason for that, because you can't fucking park like a decent human being. And yeah, obviously that's not the worst. There are way worse people out there when it comes to parking. But that just happened to be an example right there of just one of the minor versions of it. Because there are people out there that will park like diagonally, and take up 2 spots or 2.5 spots or, whatever. And there are other people that park right on the line, and it's egregious, some of the things that I've seen. Particularly in Florida, they're notorious for shitty parking for some reason. I don't get that, but nonetheless, I also see it up here, so it applies just as much, but the frequency isn't as much, though, compared to down in Florida. Next is tires. The importance of tires is incredibly, and I'm not joking, incredibly underrated. Tires are, in fact, in a sense, more important than your actual brakes themselves when it comes to braking. So having good tires is 99.9% of braking, more or less, is what I'm getting at here. Your brakes do the action, but your tires do literally everything. Not only that, but they keep your ass on the road and they keep you rolling on the road. They help you stay, level when you're turning. They are literally just as important as, say, your windshield and your, windows in general. I cannot stress how important tires are. Now I get there are people that probably don't have good tires because of finances, and I can understand that. So I'm not saying that you're a jackass if you have bad tires. But what I am getting at, though, is the I guess you could say misinformation, disinformation, I don't know. However you want to put it, when it comes to tires. Tires are underrated and underappreciated with just how important they are in regard to their actual safety and importance in general to the vehicle. If you can afford it, get good tires. Treat them well. You have no idea just on how important it is, and I always want to stress that to anyone that I can when it comes to vehicles. Tires are everything. Get good tires, keep them nice, keep them updated, have them rotated and the whole 10 yards. Keep on top of that shit. It really fucking matters. If you can't afford good tires, I get it, but at least recognize and acknowledge and understand that tires are super fucking important. And, of course, if you're not on the best of tires, drive safer. Your tread, if it's low, drive 10 times safer than you would otherwise. Next up is maintenance. It's incredibly important to keep on top of things. Get your oil changed, check your fluids, keep them topped off. You don't want to get to the point of any of the lights coming up or running out entirely. I knew a buddy that his brake fluid actually ran out on him because it was leaking a little bit, and he could have prevented it by just keeping a thing with him and refilling it as needed, up until he needed to, or up until the point that he could have got the leak fixed. It's just 101 type stuff. Maintenance is important, and people don't seem to, for some reason, take into account just how important maintenance is. This vehicle I'm in, I've had it since 2008. 2008! And it still runs just as sexy and just as amazing as it did back then. Sure, it's got some wear and tear because northern Michigan, but it took that Florida drive perfectly with grace because I got the good tires. I keep it maintenanced. I don't drive like a fuckwit. So maintenance, make sure to keep on top of that. Next up, this applies to the colder environment areas, geographically speaking. So I guess I'll just put it to Traverse City. Things that annoy me is especially during the wintertime. And it's not so much because of them as much as I know of what it's doing to the car that what annoys me. But when you let your car sit out for a while, and overnight or even for more than a couple hours, your engine gets cold. It has a little meter thing, right? There's C for, cold, dead cold, and then the medium, and then if it goes above that, closer to the H, that means it's fucking hot. It's gonna go, right? Okay, so when you initially turn your car on during the wintertime, it's gonna obviously be at its very coldest, right? And what a lot of people seem to do for some reason is instantly just, they turn it on, right? And then instantly just maxing out RPM and going, you know, real fast right away, or just gunning it right out of the parking spot or something like that? Are you mad? Are you dumb? Or are you just ignorant? I can let it pass if you're ignorant, you know, you don't have the information. But if you're someone who's relatively knowledgeable on vehicles, you should know that's pretty stupid to do. You're gonna really fuck your engine pretty good by doing that. At least what I do personally is let it warm up to the middle way, where it's well regulated, you know, just above that center mark. And then I leave, and then I take it easy for the first couple minutes. Like, I won't go above 30 miles per hour for at least 2 minutes or so to have the, you know, engine up and going. Furthermore, I guess I should put as a side note too, this applies more so, even more prevalently so, and important towards older cars, such as mine. A 2008 and under, hell, even a 2010 and under. Yeah, we'll just round up. 2010 and under, more than any other vehicle. This applies to times 10. That's why I'm so goddamn, you know, pedantic about my vehicle when it comes to initially turning it on during the winter. And again, this is why my vehicle has lasted so well for so long, because I take care of it. I don't treat it like a machine. I treat it like if it was a human, as if it was like me, right? I wouldn't want to, you know, be like a frozen block of ice and then immediately have to. No, I wouldn't. I'd want to warm up a little bit, you know? And because of that, my car's in perfect shape and it's still like brand new, more or less. But nonetheless, I see it all the fucking time around here. People who just, you know, wake up in the morning, turn their vehicle on, and just race car out of their parking spot and fly down the road. Either you don't know what you're doing or you just don't care, but either way, it's not good for your car. Let it warm up a little bit, people. And then, of course, there are those people, you know, speaking of race car, there are those people that are driving on residential roads or just the in-city routes where you don't go above basically 45. And they think that it's a racetrack, and they think that you're racing them, and it's some sort of competition. So they go flying down the fucking road at 60 plus miles per hour just so you don't pass them or get ahead of them or side by side to them or whatever. And then, of course, it's a red fucking light, and then they're creaming on their fucking brakes like a jackass, right? And then I'm just there, was it worth it, dumbass? You know, kind of thing, like, really? Was it so important that you get to the red light while creaming your brakes just so you would be there, I don't know, 5-10 seconds before me? You know, there's always those dumbass jackasses out there. You know, that's one of the most common things that I hear about, actually. And this, you know, it's not just a me thing. There's a lot of people that actually talk about that type of thing happening. So, you know, that's just this. But then again, it's still something that annoys me. So I'm just putting it out there too. And I don't see what the point is in that. Are you so much of a egotistical moron, more or less, that you feel better about yourself? I don't know. Anytime I see that sort of behavior, I always say little dick, or I'll say whatever makes your penis feel bigger, I guess, because they're clearly overcompensating. But nonetheless, that's just the kind of stupid, egregious driving behavior that you'd expect out of a stupid and ignorant person. Fragile egos, overcompensating for obvious reasons. Yes. And then there is, lastly, I'll just put this as my last because I don't want to make this too long of a video. Texting and driving. Oh yeah. Do you know how many times I was on my two wheels, or even in this, and I'll pull up to some motherfucker, look to my left, look to my right, like I always do regardless. I'll see some fucker. Just having it away at their phone, much less when they're actually driving too. I'll see that. You're a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. You are an accident waiting to happen. 100%. Either you have a death wish, or alternatively you want to have someone else killed. Not only that, but my most recent situation that I dealt with one of these dumbasses was that I pulled up to a red light, right? Well, not really a red light at the time, but it was a green light, and I figured it just had turned green light, and so I pulled up behind the guy, hit the brakes, even though it was a green light, but nonetheless, I'm hitting the brakes, right? And I figured, oh, he'll eventually get to it. Nope, waits for it turns green, right? It stays green, and then it turns red again. I'm like, okay. Then it turns green again, eventually, you know? And the person's still just not moving one fucking inch. Now, me, because I am a very laid-back, cool-headed driver, I'm not gonna, honk the shit out of the horn or anything like that. So I back up, I put it in the reverse, and I back up. I, turn the wheel, and I'm just like, as I'm passing by, like, what are you doing? Are you having, because it could have been a medical episode for all I knew. And he's on his fucking phone texting. Really, jackass? Leave it to Traverse City to do stupid shit like that. Out of all the places I've been, which is like everywhere from Traverse City all the way down to Ocala, everywhere in between, I've been everywhere. All those places. Not once did I encounter something that blatantly stupid. That blatantly entitled in its behavior. You think you can just fucking hang out, more or less, in front of a light? And the worst part of it all was if he would have just went straight about, 20 or so feet, he would have been in an area where he could have pulled off a little bit or whatever, and it would have been just fine. But no, he's so entitled, so self-fucking entitled, and caught up in his own little fucking world or whatever the fuck his problem was, that he thinks he can just hang out in the middle of the fucking road at a stoplight and be texting like it's no big fucking deal. Fucking Traverse City! What is wrong with you people? Is it in the fucking water that causes you to be the imbeciles of the world? Jesus fucking Christ. If it's not, like, societally, culturally, and driving-wise, you people are an embarrassment. Not saying that every single one of you is that bad, but god damn it, I never experienced that anywhere else in this entire fucking world. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So, you know what? Shout out to all those competent drivers that don't do shit like that, who leave their phones alone, who know how to drive properly, who don't think it's a fucking race, who don't overcompensate, and for fuck's sakes, who know how to park. And this is how you properly park. Each car next to me has the same amount of space for the white line. I am dead center. Person to the right of me is parked much closer to the white line, so it looks like there's less space, but that's on him. Whereas the person over here parked way to the left, so looks like there's more space, but I'm dead center. This is how you properly park. Until next time.